Well, most people are on a plan that they never choose, and I bet you are on this plan right now. What is it? It's the 40-50 plan. The 40-50 plan is where you work 40 to 50 hours a week for 40 to 50 years of your life and then hope that you can live on 40 to 50% of the income that you're making now. So let that sink in a little bit. That is the plan you unknowingly signed up for, and it's what's taught in our society. But that system is absolutely broken. I mean, you're working your entire adult life trying to save enough into a 401k or retirement plan. Pensions, they've gone away with the dinosaur. They're not around anymore. And your goal is to try to retire in your mid to late 60s. But think about this. The average life expectancy in the US is 76. So retire at 65, and if you're average, die at 76, that's only 11 years. And those years aren't our best years. I mean, if you know anybody that is in their 70s and 80s, the last decade of their life, it can be downright miserable. And then also you have to downsize your lifestyle and hope that that money lasts. So that's not really a retirement plan. It's a survival plan. Now, fortunately, I saw this coming early on in my career. I was in my 20s. I remember sitting there at my desk and I started to reach this point where I felt burnout. And I wondered, how many more years do I have to do this? How many more years do I have to keep coming into an office and do this before I can enjoy my life? And so I sat down and I did that math. And it was going to be 25, 30, 35 years sitting in that job before I can actually retire. And that hit pretty hard with me. I came to this realization, and maybe you felt the same way. I realized I've got to do something different. I've got to do something in addition to just working this job. And I wonder if you ever felt that same way. Have you ever felt burnt out in your job? Maybe you feel that way right now. I mean, most people have at some point. But here's the shocking reality around retirement. Most Americans have far less saved than they think. About half, 46% of US households have no retirement savings at all, zero. And those that do, their median retirement account is about $87,000, less than $100,000. And some studies say it's far worse than that, that it's about half that, $40,000 to $50,000 saved. How long is that going to last you in retirement? Not long at all. But more than half of the people surveyed say that they are relying on Social Security. Well, Social Security was never designed to replace a full income. And if you're retiring on social or relying on Social Security, I hate to say it, but you've got some big problems coming. Now, why is this system broken? We've talked about some of this. I mean, life expectancy is 76. Okay, 76. So midlife is in our 30s. It's not in our 50s or 60s. Okay, that's just the reality of it. That's just the biology of it. Medical costs, are they going up or going down? They're certainly going up. And who has the need for more health services? Younger people or older people? Of course, when you're older, you're going to need more medical treatment. And then let's talk about inflation. Inflation is really I would say quietly cutting, but it's not even quiet. It's loudly cutting into our purchasing power. And so it really cuts our purchasing power in half over time. So there's nothing to leave behind also. I mean, think about your kids or your grandkids. I mean, if you're relying on Social Security or you have very little saved and you're spending that in your retirement, there's nothing to leave behind for your kids or grandkids. And maybe some of you are okay with that. But not for me. I'd like to leave a legacy behind for people. And maybe it's not just my kids and future grandkids. Maybe it's a cause that I really believe in that I can leave an endowment to. So people aren't retiring broke because they're lazy. They're retiring broke because the math doesn't work. Okay. The system fails most of the people because income stops when you stop working, right? Savings rely on time, not leverage. And market volatility hits hardest right before retirement. Taxes, inflation, healthcare, they eat into more than what you can expect. And you're sacrificing your best years of your life working for your weakest ones much later in life. So this plan all assumes that your body, the financial markets, and the government systems all cooperate for 50 years. And that just doesn't happen. So we need to shift our thinking a little bit. We need to think less about time and more about leverage. So the old system, time-based income, trading time for dollars. The new system is leverage-based. Okay, we're talking about assets instead of hours, cash flow instead of waiting, and work becomes optional instead of mandatory. So the goal isn't to retire late. The goal is to make work optional earlier into your life. So what are some solutions? Well, we can start by building some income producing assets. These are assets that make money for you, whether you're awake or asleep. And Warren Buffett famously said, if you are not making money while you sleep, you will work until you die. Let's create some multiple streams of income because if one goes away, you have others to fall back on and not just a single thing like a job. And we also need to invest for cash flow and not just appreciation as well. So we need that cash flow coming back in. Starting a business, be a home-based business, so you can build that income-producing asset. So you don't need to be rich. You don't need to even start this while you're young. You just need a better plan. And the 40/50 plan, even though that's the default that we signed up for unwittingly, there is a faster path. Now, we offer something called the Freedom Framework, which is a roadmap for a better lifestyle. Something you can download for free and see where you are on that roadmap. And then we give you the knowledge and the tips and the action steps to move along that path towards something what I call optionality, which is having the time and the money to give you more options than what you may have today. We also offer an optional program. We can refer you to a program that I use that can create an income producing asset for yourself. Okay. And so that's something we can show you on our website. And we have some of our YouTube videos can show you what that is if you're looking for something that I use and I can teach you how to do it as well. Because remember this, retirement isn't an age, it's a math problem that you need to solve. And we're here to help you solve that problem.